to talk about contamination versus purification. There's an old stanza that says, "Do not look afar for the Buddha, because the Buddha is on the mountaintop within one's mind." Everyone has a pagoda on the mountaintop within one's mind, under which one can practice and attain Buddhahood. So Buddha is not out there on the mountain. It's actually within our own mind. All we have to do is purify our mind and our true nature will come out. Every thought is either a contamination or a purification. So we need to understand how this permeation works. It's like a cloth. If you douse it with perfume, it will permeate with fragrance. If you soak it in a rancid liquid, it will have a foul smell. There are actually 4 characters in this permeation. The first one is suchness. Suchness is our pure state of mind. We call it original enlightenment. Then we have the second character, which is ignorance. Ignorance is when our suchness doesn't stay put. It started thinking and it's agitated, so it's now ignorant, which is the state of non-enlightenment. Number 3, then we will have a deluded mind. We now have a perceived subject who is the main person that is thinking. Number 4, erroneously conceived object. That is the world of object. Because we have a perceiver, now we have the world of object. Now let's look at contamination. There are actually 3 steps to this contamination. Number 1 is ignorance permeates into suchness. We have basic ignorance, which is we separate ourselves from all others. We forgot about the suchness that is one with the whole entire universe. It's like we were the ocean, but now we're a little bubble. That's our Laya consciousness having its basic ignorance. And we also will have the ignorance of perverse thoughts and views. We will now have a lot of likes and dislikes in our 6th consciousness. So this ignorance will grow in its power and it's going to try to destroy the original enlightenment, the suchness. Number 2 is deluded mind permeates into ignorance. This deluded mind is now an activating mind, because this mind actually increased the basic ignorance and also is now an object discriminating consciousness. The 6th consciousness now is increasing in its perverse views and thoughts. So the deluded mind is allying with the ignorance, increasing its power. So it has more strength to destroy the original suchness. Number 3, erroneously conceived object permeates into the deluded mind. So the world of object that we perceive is now permeating into the deluded mind. Now we're accelerating in our deluded thought and we're accelerating in our attachment to the world of objects. Everything is now contaminated. It was the suchness, but now it's full of contamination. It's all because of this 3-step process. There was a student of Dale Carnegie. He was full of worry. He worried about not having a good life, about losing the woman that he loves, about not making enough money, worried about the impression he was making on others. He worried about everything. So he had a nervous breakdown. He wanted to commit suicide, but instead he decided to go travel. Before he left, his father gave him a letter, told him not to open it until he reached his destination. So he went to Florida. He didn't feel any better, so he opened up his father's letter and it said, "Son, you are 1,500 miles away from home, but you don't feel any different, do you? It's because you took with you the only thing that's troubling you, which is your own mind. If you can just recognize that and know that there's nothing wrong with your life except how you perceive your life, then you will be cured and you can come home." The son did not appreciate the father's letter, so he went on the street, started walking. There was a priest giving a sermon on the same subject. The priest said, "One who can conquer the spirit is mightier than one who can conquer the city." He realized, what his father said is real. All the problem is just how he sees the world. There's no problem at all. He went back home, married the woman that he loved. They have 5 children, and he had a great career and a great life after that. So everything is all perceived by our own mind, our deluded mind. In summary, contamination is non-enlightenment as the primary cause and the world of object as the supporting conditions. This is like a tug of war. If the side of ignorance, deluded mind, and conceived object is winning, then it will be contaminated. But if the suchness is stronger, then suchness will win. So the dominant will dominate. So how do we make our suchness strong? We need purification. Let's look at how purification works. Number 1, suchness permeates into ignorance. Because we have the suchness, we need to have the suchness that go into the ignorance and destroy the power of the ignorance, because the ignorance is not real in the first place. So how do we make our suchness grow strong? There are 2 ways. One is called the essence permeation, and the other is influence permeation. Let's talk about the essence permeation. This is knowing the essence of your mind is the pure suchness. How do you realize your essence? You need to meditate. How do you meditate on the suchness? You have to have the right contemplation, which is on the emptiness. Focus your attention not on your breathing, any form, color, the feeling of your body, or any thought. The moment that any thought conjures up, we immediately discard it. Even the thought of discarding the thoughts should be put away. That is called true mindfulness meditation. As this grows stronger and intensify, it will be highly effective. We call this the samadhi of suchness. This is the foundation of all samadhi. Then we have the influence permeation. There are 2 kinds of influences. One is specific influence. For example, because you have good roots, you might attract a lot of bodhisattvas that come into your life, disguised as your family member, or even your servant, or even your enemy. They will help you bring out your true suchness. So that's hidden blessing. And then we can have the general influences that's helping you. That's the Dharma of the Buddha. In chapter 5, medicinal plant chapter of the Lotus Sutra, it talks about us being the medicinal plants. The plants needs 2 things. One, from the bottom, we need the earth. So the earth is like our true suchness, our Buddha nature. Earth enables us to grow. So all plants grow from the earth. On the top, we have the rain of Buddha, which is the Dharma. Buddha equally have the rain fall on us and nourish us. We need the Dharma to nourish us for us to grow into a Buddha. So Buddha's rain is one appearance and one flavor. He rains on everyone equally, but because our size are different, some are little grass, some are medium size, some are large size, some are big trees. That's why we absorb the water in different amounts, because we are all different in our capabilities. Buddha's teaching is a general influence that is helping us grow into a Buddha. Now let's talk about the second one. Deluded mind permeates into suchness. This deluded mind is actually a good deluded mind. It's not like the one above. This is full of the Dharma, trying to help us to be enlightened. There are also 2 kinds. Object discriminating consciousness. This is the mundane person, and the Theravada Buddhists, they are loathing the samsara. This is a strong renunciation. Just like some of us, we might be very successful in our lives and accomplish everything we want, but we still feel a sense of emptiness. We don't know what to do with our lives. It's like, what do we do next? we feel empty. That's actually because your suchness is calling out to you, wanting you to find yourself spiritually. So that is the objective discriminating consciousness working. But this process is gradual and slower. So this mind permeation is of a bodhisattva who is full of great vows to save all sentient beings, so they rapidly reach enlightenment because of their aspiration and fortitude. This is like the daughter of the Naga king described in chapter 12 of the Lotus Sutra. Prajnakuta Bodhisattva talked to Manjushri Bodhisattva. He asked him, "Did you save a lot of sentient beings in the world of the ocean, the Naga world?" Manjushri Bodhisattva said, "Yes, actually there's numerous of them, especially the daughter of the Naga king. She's only 8 years old. She's eloquent, full of compassion. Think of all sentient beings as if they're her own children. And she's about to attain instant enlightenment." Prajnakuta Bodhisattva did not believe it. He said, "Shakyamuni Buddha went through immeasurable kalpas of difficult and severe cultivation in order to reach Buddhahood. How can a little girl like her reach Buddhahood immediately? That's really hard to believe." Before he finished speaking, the daughter of the Naga king appeared in the assembly. She bowed down deeply to them. Then she expounded a verse praising the Buddha and ended with, "I will reveal the teaching of Mahayana and save suffering sentient beings." Saripudra said to her, "How can you obtain instant enlightenment? The female body cannot become a Buddha." She immediately offered a jewel to Buddha. Buddha accepted it. She said, "I offered the jewel to Buddha and Buddha accepted it. Was that done quickly?" They replied, "Yes, that was done very quickly." She said, "Watch me become a Buddha even faster than that." She immediately transformed into a man, perfected all her bodhisattva practice, went to the Mavella world of the south, sat on a jeweled lotus flower, and immediately reached perfect enlightenment. So the daughter of the Naga king, she became a Buddha because of her great vows and because she has the suchness inside of her. So it doesn't matter if you're a little girl, you are in the animal realm, or you are a female. You can become a Buddha right here and right now. In summary, purification is original enlightenment as the primary cause and the triple jewel as the supporting conditions. So it's the opposite of the top. It's like we have the nature of the wood to burn, but if we do not kindle it, it will never have fire. So we need to have the triple jewels to help us burn, to help us find our suchness. If the purification is strong, it will destroy the ignorance. Ignorance is actually unreal. If you recognize that ignorance and deluded mind and erroneously conceived objects are unreal, they no longer have any power over you. They will disappear. So if you have your suchness strong, then the ignorance will cease to exist and you will reach final enlightenment. That's the class for today. Thank you for listening. Amitabha.